Welcome to the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. This is the Aftermash, and this is episode 150. A round of applause for the boys. We started where we were and we're still here, I guess.
Yep.
Aye.
The best podcast you've never heard of, and the cleanest speaking one when he stuttering.
Professionals here, we are professionals.
We're professionals.
I mean, 150 episodes in, we've got to at least be semi-professional by now, surely.
There's got to be some element of being able to talk coherently for at least 3 seconds at a time, isn't there? Like,
One would assume
I
so.
hope so. Don't know. I'm patting myself on the back anyway, man.
So-
That's awesome.
This is, of course, the Aftermash, where we shall surely shoot the shit. And we're just going to chill out for the next 30-40 minutes and see where the podcast takes us, talk about whatever's happening in the world of sport and otherwise.
Yes, aye.
So do stick around and listen. Well, first of all, happy birthday to both Harvey and Paul.
Yeah.
Both had recent birthdays.
Thank you very much, old buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Congratulations on being a year older.
was
Like, you did it.
Fantastic turning 24, mate. I don't feel 24. Nah, I'm joking. I wish I was fucking 24.
Good.
Where shall we begin this week? What will we talk about? Bit of foosball.
Football, conservative leadership. That's fun. That's fun. Isn't it?
That's one.
That's a lot of fun. Football seems more fun, actually, though, I would say. There's been a lot
I've started to notice some headlines popping up here and there.
wee bit of big transfer news and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That's what about old Glasgow Rangers with big Shirley Bassey away for 22 million plus add-ons. That is a crazy
Right.
amount of money. They've Calvin
20
Bassey.
million plus add-ons, and then I think they have a 10% sell-on fee.
Aye. Which if it's it's Ajax he's waiting to, which means if he does well he'll be sold.
Aye, much. They'll surely they'll miss him. He was one of their best performers last year.
In the
last season, sorry.
second half of that season, come on to some, didn't he?
Aye, he was really, really good. I mean, he is a really good player, but he was outstanding, I would say. Him, Aribo as well, so they've lost Aribo too. He's off. But I mean, it's a good amount of money for him, to be honest. But
Aye.
I mean, 20 million, and you've got to deal with a loss of him. It's not really a win-win, is it?
I don't know how it works for them, whether it's good or bad. The money certainly is good for them. Like,
I mean, I think if he went for 50 million or something, I would be like, I'll take it all day. You know what I mean? Like, Bassey leaves, and then I can,
aye.
surely you can get somebody who's a good player as well, and still have
Got a replacement.
Aye.
Plus another couple of up-and-comers or whatever.
Aye.
They've already started with the recruitment.
20 million's not really a lot, is it?
It's no low in England, certainly no, the 20 million quid. In Scotland, it's still a massive amount, I think.
I mean, have they got somebody that could... I mean, seemingly he was the standout player, but have they got somebody that can at least be passable in that position for them?
I have Borna Barisic.
Left back,
He's aye.
I think it's centre half where they really come on to somewhere. By the way, when he was playing centre half, he was incredible.
Well, when he played centre half, he was actually pretty good.
Fucking imperious, man.
At centre half, who they go at centre half?
Well, they've signed John Suter, which is a good signing if he stays fit. John Suter, the Scotland defender.
John Suter. But the thing is, with John Suter, did they not re-sign? Who was it?
Connor Goldson. Aye, he's
He re-signed.
He's got a new contract as well, which is as good as a signing for them because he's good in the SPL. Is he good in Europe? I think he's a bit lackadaisical at times, Goldson, but He's a decent signing. He's a decent player to keep hold of.
Aye. Do you know what though? I kind of was worried for John Suter actually. When I seen Goldson staying there and was somebody else, I was like, he might struggle to get some game time. Which is no great for him. It's no great for Scotland either.
No. You want your big players.
That's a position that we need to have.
I think if he's
our boys playing.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst can't ignore that. He's a Rolls Royce, a centre half for me. John Suter. He's top dollar, man. He just unfortunately doesn't stay fit much. I see they've signed that. Well, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but it's pretty much a done deal. That Ben Davis, who was at Liverpool. Celtic were actually trying to sign him, I'm sure, last season.
Celtic tried to sign him last season, then he moved to Liverpool.
That's right, aye. Oh, so that was Neil Lennon, so it was a season and a half ago, of course, wasn't it?
Aye. Then, he didn't quite break into the team. I think Celtic were going to go for him again, but
Postecoglou obviously didn't fancy him.
Aye. He's now been touted to go to Rangers. I think it's something ridiculous, like 4 million.
4 million quid, aye. For a guy that's not played for his team that he signed for 2 years ago.
Aye.
Signed for Liverpool for $1 million.
Aye, $1 million. It's just crazy. But I mean, aye. I mean, that's good business for Liverpool.
Aye, what a treat, man. Turned a profit in a boy that nobody heard of. Really. Let's be honest. What about the boy? You seen the boy Rabbi Matondo that signed for Rangers as well? Is that not a football manager signing? Has anybody actually seen that boy play football?
Rabbi Matondo, Schalke.
So he was at Manchester City when he was younger, Mick. Mm-hmm. He was a youth player, a wee tricky winger. He's about 3 foot nothing effectively and about 2 stone wet. But very good with the ball at his feet. He's went for a lot of money to Schalke. I think it was about 8 million or something like that. He's now moved to Rangers, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about the boy. He's good in Football Manager and good in FIFA.
Aye, he's good in Football Manager. He's Welsh.
He's Welsh, aye. Rabbi Matondo, Welsh.
Okay.
There,
interesting.
But I think he was
played much for Wales.
I think he's actually played more for Wales than he did for 11 Welsh caps. He's played about 60 games in total in his full career. so about a seventh of his total games have been national team games.
There's got to be some about him.
I mean, aye. Only 21.
But I mean, to be honest, I think he's a good signing for them.
Interesting to see how he does.
Kind of makes up for the. Sorry, hitting the mic here. That Joe Aribo leaving, I think he slots in there nicely. To where he could play like wide and stuff. Aye, but then they've signed some folk that are like Antonio Kolak. Never heard of him.
Scored against them when he played with Malmo last season when they get knocked out of the Champions League qualifiers.
But then,
big lumpy.
That would have been 2 seasons ago because last season he was at PAA.
Oh, would have been, aye. You're right, it would have been 2 years ago. Aye, correct. Aye. I mean, apparently decent. I don't know a lot about him. It's an exciting start of the season, Ian Harvey, I think. Both teams look decent.
Somebody said to me that he not to me. So I read something that somebody was saying that Kolak is a Ali McCoist-esque player.
A finisher then?
Aye. So
it's probably something they could use to take the pressure off of Morelos, because that's what. I'll tell you, if they'd a striker in that Europa League final, they would have won that game. That's what ultimately that stopped them winning was the ability to actually have somebody to stick the ball to.
I think if he was playing, if Morelos was playing in that game, I think they would not.
Oh, aye, absolutely. Morelos would have bullied the centre halves. It's one thing about Morelos. He's his detractors because his attitude on the pitch and all that, but he is top fucking quality. That boy, he really is. Your team,
in Celtic.
I was just going to say, sorry.
They've made some half decent sight. Obviously, Jota, they've got him on permanently now. Cameron Carter as well.
Aye.
Obviously, Maeda. We kind of knew that they were pretty much in the works to happen, but just wasn't sure if they would go over the line. This Barnaby left back,
aye.
well, interesting to see what's going to happen there, right? Because if he plays well, he's going to start on the left, right?
Aye.
Then who's going to be the right back?
Surely Juranovic takes it over Ralston.
Juranovic,
aye.
Right? As much as Ralston was playing well and everything, I think Juranovic is a better player.
Aye.
I know some people will be like, oh, it's harsh, this and that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you want your best players playing, aren't you?
Definitely. I think the good thing about Celtic is that the pre-season that these Japanese guys have, and Matt O'Reilly has now, they've got pre-season under the belt with Postecoglou.
Aye. I mean, Matt O'Reilly looked brilliant the other day as well.
Aye, good player. Love that guy.
Mm-hmm. And then having Seacrest as a backup keeper, I like that.
Probably rate him higher than Joe Hart, to be honest, mate.
Aye.
Yeah.
Joe Hart makes some.
Have you seen Charlie Mulgrew's own goal, by the way?
Aye.
Holy shit, Mick.
That was hilarious.
It's unreal. He takes a ball in the half volley and he kind of half volleys it back towards where he thinks the goalie is without looking.
Aye.
The goalie's wandered forward, so it totally and utterly scoots by the keeper. 40 yards, half volley. Gorgeous finish.
Oh, it was brilliant.
With Charlie Mulgrew. Showing he's still got the technique, just the wrong way around, man. Fizzes it.
Mate, I watched.
Was that a friendly?
It's a friendly, mate.
Aye, friendly. Aye.
And a friendly, but some technique, man. Class technique.
I watched that game the other day with Aberdeen.
All right.
You know, the Premier Sports Cup. A couple of their signings, man, were pretty good.
They've made a lot of interesting kind of moves, boys I've never heard of.
I mean, the one named Ramadani, he looked good. Majovski, he looked good. Didn't get to see Luis Lopez, but he's a striker for Benfica. They've signed him.
That's right, aye.
But then you know who stood out? That Ramirez. He looks like what they signed. Like, you know what I mean? When they were describing what they signed, and we didn't really get to see that last year, but that.
He's burned me already, man. I remember sitting here with you guys last year and saying they look good with this guy Ramirez, and then he was bang average for the minute I said that. Average, I cussed him, so I'm going to call him shite now in the hope that he actually works all right.
Aye. By the way, the amount of people that Kelly have let go. By the way,
they can have trimmed the fat a wee bit, haven't they?
Trimmed the fat. Let me count here. One,
They get relegated last year.
They get promoted last year, so they won the championship.
Oh, right, okay.
So they did. They won the championship after being relegated the season previous.
Right, okay.
Although that was a season of turmoil because they started with Tommy Wright as their gaffer. Arbroath led the league for the first half of the season. They brought in Derek McInnes, former Aberdeen manager, and they won the league, I think, in the second last weekend, basically beating Arbroath.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
They released 22 players.
Jesus Christ, aye.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 27 really. Five went back to their parent clubs because they had them on loan, and then 22 folk gone. Like,
Jesus, I'm just looking at their squad now. They've turned that squad completely round about for the new season.
You know,
how many have they signed?
They've only signed like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 permanent signings and 2 loan signings.
Zach Hemmings came back from Middlesbrough, their goalie last year, who was very good. Although less than
I trust Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes would do the right thing. I like him as a manager. He'll have him playing decent.
Aye.
You'll probably find that they'll finish in the top half this year, to be honest.
Do you think that's like budget led? Like the wages been too big and players that haven't been maybe what they should have been in terms of their level?
I think they like double gambled effectively. So they gambled on spending decent amount of money when it was Tommy Wright that was their gaffer. So he brought in a full new squad. Then of course that went tits up. And they gambled again by allowing McInnes to have a bit of a budget to bring in his own kind of players. So there was a lot of boys come in January Like,
Right. Okay.
like so Ash Taylor came in January. He used to play in Derek McInnes's Aberdeen team. There was a few others kind of come in as well, along with that. But the player Kyle Lafferty obviously come back in as well, so he did made a earlier difference to Kilmarnock when he came in 8 goals, 14 games. Like, they'll be fine this year, Harvey. I noticed they've signed, and this one hurts because I know Ayr tried to sign him after being on loan. Kieran McEnroy.
Kieran McEnroy.
He'll look great this year in the Cinch. Sorry, Lawman. He was phenomenal.
He'll be good, man. He'll be good. Have you seen that Hearts went to sign Shanklin?
Aye, apparently so. Lawrence Shanklin, aye. I mean, that'll mean nothing to you, Mick, but Lawrence Shanklin was at Ayr for a couple of years, and sweet Jesus, man. I mean, the goal scoring record he had with Ayr United was unreal. Like 30 goal a season in the lower leagues. Like it was brilliant watching him. I remember going to watch Ayr United when he was in the team, and like Scottish lower league football is largely a war of attrition. It's who wants it more. There's no really anybody who stands out as a top player. Like, you'll get players who are good. Physicality's got a lot to do with it, but this guy, you could tell this guy was at a level way above anybody else. Like the way he moved, the way he found space on the shoulder of defenders and all that. Fucking phenomenal for the 2 seasons Ayr United had him. 50 league goals in 61 league games is what his record was.
Then he got his move to Dundee United, where I don't know, it just didn't really work out for him.
Had a great season in the Championship with Dundee United, and then they changed their kind of system to be less focused on him, as it were. Like 24 goals, 26 games in the Championship with Dundee United. Up to the Premiership, it just didn't really work. He's had a poor season in Belgium, though.
And then he's went to Belgium. Now Hearts, but do you know what? I like this move. If he goes to Hearts, I think that he'll get on well there. So I do. I think Robbie Nielsen will bring out the quality in him.
Well, that's it. I mean, with Dundee United, Robbie Nielsen built the team round about Shanklin to get the best out of Shanklin, and they got promoted as champions. Like so,
and then obviously he left.
And then he left. Then Nielsen leaves
went to
go to Hearts.
And
the new manager doesn't build the team round about Shanklin, so it's probably a good fit for Shanklin to go to Hearts, and obviously they've just signed Alan Forrest, and Alan Forrest was one of the reasons that Shanklin was so deadly with United. Like Alan Forrest in the wing, James Forrest's younger brother, by the way, Mick, Celtic winger.
Okay,
both boys for Ayr, of course, originally.
Yep.
Right.
But should be interesting, the old Scottish Prem when it gets started back up, huh?
Should be. Actually, a few teams look pretty strong, to be honest.
I'm scared to say it.
Interesting. Do you know what I'm hoping though? Like, I hope that Rangers get into the Champions League, and
me too.
I hope Hearts get into the Europa League at least, and then the other two, hopefully they can do well. Dundee United and
Motherwell, the other team.
I don't know if their draws were pretty. Could be a tricky one actually. Like Motherwell, they'll either be playing Sparta Prague or Viking, Norway's Viking. If they beat Sligo Rangers, Sligo Rovers, which I think Motherwell gets past Sligo Rovers, but if they're not beating a team for the Republic of Ireland, that is very, very damning. But Sparta Prague will beat Viking, Stavanger, and Sparta Prague will run through Motherwell. Exactly. Dundee United, they play. I mean, Tuzla City for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I was literally just going to ask you who the hell are they?
I don't know who they are, but I know AZ Alkmaar.
The Dutch team, Alkmaar.
Years past they were decent, but these days they're not really that great. Dundee United could possibly get past the two of them. I mean, I've got high hopes. As long as their coefficient stays up, Brilliant.
It's going to be good with at least 2 teams in European football group stages. Probably 3, really, when you think about it. Rangers, even if they don't get into the Champions League, should get into the Europa League group stages.
Europa League.
Hearts being in group football is great as well. So, good in a lot of ways. Money getting into the Scottish game, mate, at the end of the day.
Aye.
Which is awesome.
Aye. Do you see that Shakhtar Donetsk are suing FIFA?
Aye, how's that working? Explain this. I've just seen a headline of that. What's going on there?
Have no idea.
How does that work?
So, right, I don't know how it works because I'm
obviously this is
I don't practice law.
This is dragging back into the old war in Ukraine, as it were.
Aye, so they're suing for damages. So 50 million, I think. There's Shakhtar Donetsk are trying to sue people for 50 million and lost transfer fees. So obviously FIFA said anybody who's playing in Ukraine can suspend their contract and go play with somebody else. Same as Russia, because obviously, what's going on there.
Yeah.
So, a lot of them did. And obviously Shakhtar now are saying, well, because it was only foreign players, sorry. Only foreign players. And now they're saying that, well, we lost out in potential money for selling them. So, and they came up with a number 50 million.
It is a shame, because of the war, this is what's going on. Like, I do feel for them, like the team, like, and that obviously that area is getting the arse kicked clean off it. The Donbass region of Ukraine, like it's horrible what's going on over there. It's just one of the byproducts of a fucking war, I suppose, isn't it? Like, so I think the thing is, there's a ruling going to come into place where FIFA will basically force them to suspend contracts. Is that how it's going to go? So these players have went, right, fine, well, we'll no move for transfer fees because then we'll rake it in on free transfers. That would, because obviously a player makes more if they go, like, wage wise, they'll make more if they travel in our club by free transfer than they would if it was like a transfer fee. Basically, money is the answer.
Aye, it's just money. Aye.
More money for players, less money for club. It's fucked up, man.
It's fucked up, man. I don't know. It's gone to court of arbitration of sports, isn't it?
It all feels a bit weird. Like, fucking petrol costs so much money, food costs so much money, but yet the football transfer system just rolls on. Fucking like an unassailable juggernaut. Like, there's still mad fees getting chucked about all over the shop like it's nothing.
Well, do you know, it's funny you said that. I was actually looking at something the other day, and it was a farmer, and he was saying, like, you think that everything's raised now. It's like, wait till 6 months' time, and you'll see the real cost of living go up. Because right now, and then he explained, like, this bag of feed was X amount of money last year. Now it's X amount of money. So they've just come out the culling stage where they, cull the animals to sell to the supermarket and stuff, right? It's like, so that one just passed. And he said, in the next 6 months, when these are ready for slaughter, then you'll see the increase in price. And I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. That's just not going to be fucking good, is it? Like, man.
The world's a really weird place in general, lads, for
mental.
Me. Like,
aye, it is. It's just...
It's really weird.
We're approaching the end game, my friends.
Feels like that, doesn't it? Like, it really does feel.
Aye.
It's the slow, inevitable approach. I mean, it's the immortal race of, like, will humans destroy Earth before Earth destroys itself, or something else floating about in space does the job. I don't know who's winning the now, but the race is seemingly heating up. That would have been easier to say. Aye, we'll see.
It's kind of fucked up.
I don't think we'll see. I think it's going to be a good few years yet before everything's. I mean, just look back to, like, the crash in 2008.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, for many people, all but forgotten about. But
That didn't feel as
going
bad
into that,
then as it does now, though.
I think the thing is, we've had like 2+ years of pandemic
Aye.
that's led to where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been other kind of suffering going on. There's been other hardships going on. That was much more sudden, I think, was the thing. But if you go back and look at stuff, really it took about sort of 2 years or so to really see the recovery.
Aye.
And we've probably not hit the depths that we're going to hit. So
Nah.
we've got another 2+ years, could be 3 or 4 years before we're anywhere near where we were pre-pandemic.
I have a great
In terms of
problem with all I've got to say, where they're telling you this is going to cost so much more, it's going to get worse, yet profits continue to skyrocket for these very rich people. That's that. It really.
Yep.
Why the fuck are we no angrier? Is what I'm worried about. Like, we just see me accept it. Like, this is the biggest problem I've got with it all. Like, why are we no
Because
fucking
people are
written?
afraid.
Aye.
I mean, look at Sri Lanka. The people are like, hell no. Their
Jesus.
president isn't it?
Shit
we'll
got
get
real.
I think it did,
over
man.
there,
But you see, this is the problem. See, if everybody was to say, all right, select the petrol prices and stuff like that, if everybody just like, fuck it, we're not paying for any, look how fast they would turn that around.
Aye, I know.
Like, if you stop buying something, they'll be like, oh shit. You know, but as a society, because we need that. We need, like,
There's
and
too
you have a
much
lot of folk who
we'll
are
need
just-
to make it work mentality in the UK, I think. Isn't there?
aye.
Like, it does me nothing. Like, everybody just pits up with it. It's, I mean, the country has its good, progressively worse with this government, and I hate to rag on about Tories for a podcast, but it's get progressively worse. Everybody can see it, but yet everybody still comes away with silly things like, oh, well, I mean, he's doing his best. I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather have this? And it's like, well, fuck, it's going to be better than what we've fucking got. What are you talking about? Like folk still just glumly accept that, oh, well, they're posh for a reason and they must know what they're doing because they went to nice schools and, I mean, look how much money they make privately outside of politics and all this. Like, that doesn't mean they should be. It's so much. It rips my nut. It is infuriating.
Indeed.
Infuriating. The weather's a weird one to me as well now, by the way, the 40-degree thing. I remember 28 degrees when I was away and being unseasonably warm. I knew that's 40 degrees is the new unseasonably warm.
But yet, climate change isn't real.
Kind of fucked up.
many
Kind of
people.
fucked up, isn't it? The world's getting weird. I think it's the best way to describe it. It's definitely getting weird. Feels like we're living through something we're going to talk about when we're very old. What it was like living through
definitely.
it. You know what I mean?
We're definitely going to be exaggerating our stories about COVID. There's people dropping dead on the street.
Drop deed. That is what it's like. I always remember my wee old gran talking about bloody planes flying over the village where I grew up, Gatrin, like bloody bomber planes, and then watching it for the hills and all that kind of thing. Like, it's just going to be like, oh, there was nobody in the streets, there was nobody in the shops.
There was clapping at 7 o'clock at night.
Clamming, banging pots in their doorstep.
Oh, God.
And for a short 4 weeks, everybody thought Boris Johnson was just a nice, honest working man. The pictures of him outside the house, the bloody 10 Downing Street, looking depressed. Turns out he was just rough as a fucking badger's arse for a sedge.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ, man. Fucking unbelievable.
So, other than politics, what else has been happening?
Get me away from this.
Move us on.
Get me
swiftly.
away from this politics, says Michael.
Bloody fires in Europe.
France and Spain.
France and Spain, and crazy.
What's that? Is it wildfires?
Like, aye.
Jeez.
Obviously, because of heat.
Of course, because this is warm, aye. Fuck. Remember seeing the clips in bloody Florida? My cousin works over in Florida. He's in Florida. And it's like mental. It looks like bloody hell on earth. I ain't seen it. I think I actually caught up with the stuff in France and Spain, mate, though.
California's the worst for it in America.
Aye, maybe it's California. I'm thinking. I can't remember. He lives in America. Somewhere warm in America, whether it's California or Florida. Not sure. But
Listen to this.
Aye,
What a line this is.
heads up, mate.
Western France is facing a heat apocalypse, experts are warned.
Lovely.
As extreme
Nice way to
temperatures
finesse
continue to hit much of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds horrendous.
it. Aye, that's no doom mongering, as it were. Keep us all nice and happy and sleeping well. Oh fuck!
And there was a fire in Birmingham as well, by the way.
What is that? Wildfire, aye?
It was a wildfire, aye.
Sweet, Jesus.
Mind the own time that there was a big brush fire up in Merkirk.
Was it?
Aye.
Aye, vaguely, aye.
Well,
Aye,
I
day, aye. It was the hills up towards Lanark side of Market.
Aye.
Christ, amazing.
But I think they said that somebody set that. It wasn't. I don't know. But you can't have rumours go in meetings, like, you know.
Reading rumours on
Wow. In Spain and Portugal, more than 1,000 deaths have been attributed to the heat. in recent
Sweet
days.
Jesus,
Aye.
1,000.
Dear God.
That's wild, man.
I was saying to Michael earlier, Paul,
Aye.
that I seen something. It was so like the times that I can't remember exactly what the temperature was, right? But in the UK, from 1900, the year 1900 to the year 2000, it only reached this temperature 9 times.
Yep.
But for the year 2000 till the now, it's hit it 7 times.
Sweet Christ, man. Aye. So it's getting
Aye.
worse and worse. I've just seen the pictures in France, man. Sweet Christ, man. That is horrible. That is bloody horrible. That is. I've got 42 degrees in Nantes in the west of France. Christ almighty.
It's at 47 in Portugal.
Well, I mean, that is just, how can you even move in that heat? Like, I cannot imagine that. I'm dying of Mars today, and it's about 28 here. Like, I can't. That is horrible, man. Absolutely horrible.
Yep.
I think it's Tuesday. It's meant to hit 40 here in London.
Aye, I believe, if memory serves, I don't remember what the number was, but I'm sure I read that Wales, their all-time temperature record was broken today. So obviously it's Monday for us, we're recording.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, Tuesday, there's a good chance that the English record will go.
Dear God, man.
Craziness, man.
It's so weird. Like I
What a time to be alive, eh?
Like I say, what a weird time. Aye, it really is, man.
So many things happening at once.
Aye.
Question,
Go for it.
just to steer us back towards sport.
Oh.
Is it this week or next week the Formula One's back?
This week.
This week. Lovely.
I was looking to buy bloody tickets for Austin, but they sold it a long time.
Wait, good.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I didn't go on to try and buy. I went on to see the prices, but I couldn't see any because they were all sold out.
Right.
I was like, okay, cool.
Thank
So
you. Popularity in America
see the prices then.
seems amazing, though, doesn't it? There's a lot of popularity for it now.
Aye.
Like never before.
I think the one with the Austin Grand Prix is because it's been a staple there for a few years, right?
Aye, that's right.
So people know it.
I'm missing it this week, I've got to say.
Me too. I was just interested to see how much it would be like. I would definitely look to do it next year, but
What about the Miami Grand Prix? I mean, Miami's how long's that flight for you? That's quite kind of close to you, isn't it?
it's kind of close to me. It's like an hour I'm playing, but I'd prefer to go to Austin.
Nah, too many Florida men in Miami. Florida man.
It's not that. I like the Miami race, but I think they need to change the layout a wee bit. But
What do you think about it this year?
I think there was like 2 turns that I wasn't happy with.
All right, 2 turns.
It's all good. two corners.
Two bad bloody turns. Bastards.
That's all it takes for me. One bloody
Nah.
Shite.
Get out, Sean. Get him out. What about this year though? The F1 season. Would I be overstepping the mark by saying this is probably the most I've enjoyed it in a long time, even with the excitement of last season? I think this has been awesome this year.
I think it's been brilliant this year. A lot more enjoyable than last. Well, yeah, so far. A lot more enjoyable. I would like to see Mercedes battling with the top two right now, but yeah. What are you saying, Michael?
I was just going to say I've loved the unpredictability about it.
Aye, definitely,
sure.
man. I mean, that for me is somebody who doesn't watch as much as not knowing what's going to happen. It's not just a procession every week, a lot of the times.
Yep. Yeah,
the lack of reliability and all that.
Seemingly a bit of a two-horse race at the very front. Like, there's enough going on elsewhere that it doesn't feel like a kind of foregone conclusion, just a two-horse race the full time. Like, and especially obviously with reliability issues and stuff like it, kind of feels like anything could happen at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
The fact there isn't really
ultimately fun.
There isn't really a defined backmarker. Even the backmarker teams are scoring points this year. Above all else, like it's not like there's just four racers who have never got any chance of scoring points. Like Albon's scored a wee bit for Williams, obviously Vettel, and your money man Stroll's obviously got a wee bit of a fortune as well. But the fact that there is, it's not really a midfield. It's everybody else as such. Like everybody has a chance.
There's no real sort of, how would you even describe it? Like, there's nothing really set in stone.
Aye. It's not.
I mean, like you can surmise who's the kind of bottom two or three teams, who's the top two or three teams, but like week to week, the different tracks, the different weather conditions, the different updates that are rolling in, like the leaderboard just constantly getting shuffled week to week.
Qualifying performances are all over the place as well. Like it's.
I wonder if it'll be much more sort of level next year. Like I kind of hope that like there's some of the sort of unpredictability left. You know what I mean? I want that because it's the. You know what I mean? That makes things fun because you don't know what's going to happen. That's part of it.
I absolutely agree.
But I do worry slightly. Like by the end of this season, like the teams will kind of have ironed out their approach for this kind of current set of rules that they've got.
Settling in a groove, as it were.
And then between seasons, you know, like they'll make their changes, their improvements, whatever. But like realistically, they'll go into next season and it'll be a wee bit more defined. Who's the back runners, who's the front runners, etc. So
where it's going to go.
I don't know. Like as far as right now, man, loving it.
Awesome, isn't it? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, perhaps my kind of answer's clouded by the Haas performance there. I mean, that's going to be expected.
I mean, I've been loving the rise of Haas, to be honest. The rise of Mick Schumacher. I mean, I know it's Mick. We've only seen him like for the last two races, you know, getting the points, but it's been good to see that he's capable of mixing it up with them, you know, which has been brilliant. I just can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds. Hopefully the car keeps improving, and so does Mick Schumacher, and you know, sky could be the limit for him.
The social media team has been class, by the way. That's one thing I've got to say with Haas. The social media team is so on point with their patter.
They're pretty funny, to be honest.
Every time they get a decent performance, there's a boat next to Gunther getting bigger and bigger. Like, because obviously that was it the Audi catalogue he did where he poses with like a tiny wee boat or something like that behind him. I think it was in Drive to Survive.
Aye.
It's up to a bloody a cruise liner now, just about, I'm sure. Outstanding, man. Outstanding. They get it. They get their audience. Well, no daft. They get that they're a bit of a banter team.
Aye, it's great to see, man.
Aye,
it is great to. You know what else is great to see? Michael Massey.
Oh, he resigned, of course, didn't he?
Cheerio, cheerio.
Leave the FIA.
Yep.
I have no idea why he was allowed to stay after all that. That's just so weird to me, so strange.
Aye, that wasn't a good situation at the end of last season. I mean, I don't even know what the job was that they moved him into.
I think they effectively just moved him into the background, didn't they?
They had him in some advisory role or something. It's just like, whatever.
Kind of seems like a payoff, maybe. You know, like they didn't want to straight up sack him. Maybe they were pushing him to resign. And then the compromise was, right, we'll give you a year and a pokey office doing nothing, keeping your face away from the media, you twat. After your year, you're on your way. I don't know. It's a strange situation. And even the way, even like the statement, I can't remember it word for word or anything, but like the statement that the FIA put out about him leaving was a bit like iffy. They were a bit non-committal in anything. Going on about him going back to Australia to be near his family.
Yeah.
Always be remembered for one of the most shocking moments in F1. We went racing today.
Aye.
The classic quote, we went racing, Toto.
Yep.
Probably forget about that in a couple of years. But so obviously, have you seen this new that the FIA is introducing measures like with the bouncing?
Oh, the porpoising,
aye. So, well, they have two different things. They call one porpoising and they call another one bouncing.
Right.
So it's porpoising is when the airflow.
Sorry, here you go.
This is what so the porpoising, when the airflow becomes disrupted, the car raises as downforce is lost, then lowers as the airflow stabilizes before stalling again, leading to a high frequency vertical oscillation. And then bouncing is stated as where the stiffness of the suspension setups required to run ground effectively leads to the car displaying poor ride properties over bumps.
The latter is what's causing Mercedes in particular a lot of issues. So initially they had, as many teams did, issues with porpoising, and their mode of coping with that and getting by it was by adjusting ride height and stiffening suspension. That was the primary measures. Obviously they've worked in aero, they've done a bunch of different stuff, and they've obviously made upgrades since that's improved everything, but the worst of what they were getting in terms of bouncing wasn't actually porpoising. It was because they had made the suspension so stiff that anytime they hit a bump, the car would literally bounce.
Shaking the motor, aye. Right.
Yep.
Obviously, porpoising's the kind of vogue way of describing it, like the kind of the in-term for it, as it were.
Aye, they've just stuck with the porpoising as the kind of general term, like the commentators and stuff, without they've kind of very rarely sort of delved into. In fact, I don't think I've actually heard the commentators or any of the media team, like for Sky or anything like that, during the broadcast, go into
detail about each one.
The difference in the details and stuff at all.
Aye, so they're introducing a metric which will determine the maximum amount of bouncing that's permitted by a car.
Yep.
And so off that, teams will have to make setup changes. If the car exceeds the limit, they could face disqualification in qualifying and the race. So shit's getting real, son. There's a few teams fighting against it, but
apparently there's I don't know. I'd have to go and do a bit of research to get the name of this thing, because I don't remember what it was called. Right, but it was some kind of crazy name. But there's a sort of suspension part that when they made the changes to the rules that gave us the cars that will go to this season, part of what they did was taking away this thing for the suspension. And basically what it was like a dampener. So it was something that was fitted between, it was like in the rear suspension, and the suspension arms for both sides of the car would kind of meet in the middle with this dampener thing, like a big spring effectively between them. And it was adjustable. So effectively what it would do was they could adjust the suspension and make it softer or stiffer depending on what they needed, and then adjust the dampener accordingly to account for any additional bouncing or like reduction of bouncing or whatever based on what they'd done with the suspension. So effectively, like the wheels would move up and down independently for the chassis based on the suspension, and then there was like an element of flex between the suspension parts and the chassis would be able to move with this dampener thing. So it was like an extra layer of suspension, but it was controllable. So there's basically like a call for them to bring that back as a kind of better measure for sort of solving the bouncing issue. Like basically like for next season or whatever, allow the teams to implement that again and just set the guidelines in terms of how much the spring thing, I really cannot remember what the hell it was called, it's something stupid, but like they can set how much that's allowed to move or whatever way they want to go about it.
Definitely be interesting to see what happens now with all that.
Absolutely.
See how the FIA, like, if they actually stick to their words. And
I was reading earlier actually that like they've kind of pushed back on the latest, like so like some of the teams were kind of grouping together and pushing against these changes that they're looking to implement. Well, not so much changes, but like guidelines or whatever. But that's been sort of vetoed. Like their FIA are pushing ahead.
Aye, they're still pushing ahead because there were a few that were saying that it's wrong to penalise the teams who have it under control because some other team can't get it right.
I kind of get that. So I do kind of get that kind of view. Like it's on the teams to sort it out. Like
I see an argument for both, but like if I was going to sway one side, I would probably sway away. You can't penalise the whole of us because one, like they refuse to do
one influential team can't quite get it
to protect their own driver. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I mean,
but then I think the fact that they included the ride height thing is like the kind of compromise. So if you don't meet these guidelines and you get pulled up for it, then you have to raise the ride height to a set minimum ride height until you can show that you've fixed the issues.
Aye.
So that's like the teams that are most likely to get hit with that penalty are the ones that are suffering now. Like the teams that have sussed it out, like it's not going to hurt them. So their only argument is that the guidelines and stuff they're bringing in will allow like a team like Mercedes to catch up, like to solve their issues a bit quicker, because obviously Mercedes can implement the additional stiffener things, whatever they're called, for the underfloor. So I don't know. It's just the politics of Formula One, isn't it?
Aye, absolutely, mate.
There's a lot of politicking in there.
Yep. And here we are, man. We went full circle. We're back to politics.
Yeah! Can't stay away from it, Mick. No matter what you try, you'll always return to it.
Oh dear. Right.
That's the end game for the podcast length, aye.
Anything that we've not covered? Any final thoughts?
Don't play 7-a-side or 5-a-side on AstroTurf, man. I played last Wednesday and I am still sore on Monday. I swear, playing on AstroTurf as a goalkeeper, it's a body callus you need to form like bumping in a wrestling ring. My hips are still fucking sore. By the way, hey, performed quite well, so I'm looking good for my charity game. But of course, I'm shit at 11s.
When is the game?
So that is on Sunday what day will that be? Sunday the 24th. And that's in Cumnock. So it is at Townhead Park. So it's the National Autistic Society versus somebody else. But I'm playing with the National Autistic Society. Don't exactly know who I'm playing against, but I'm playing. I've been drafted in as a goalie. The problem is that I'm really good in short-sided games, in 5s and in 7s, where I just put my body in the line and I react quickly. Perfect. I'm brilliant at that. I'm already setting myself up for a fail because I've made all these quick reaction saves and everybody's getting at we'll be fine on Sunday, boys. We've got Paul. Wait till a high cross comes in and I fumble it into my own net, man. Or a clearance comes up the park and I misjudge the bounce and it bounces over me. I'm going to look like a dick. So there's my final thought. Fear is my final thought.
Oh dear.
Oh, and download the game
Dad.
Fall Guys. It's for free and it's awesome.
Fall Guys.
Have you never played Fall Guys? What console have you got in the
Don't know what it
house?
is, man. Xbox.
You can get it for free. Fall Guys. Honestly, you'll thank
Right.
me. It's like Total Wipeout, but you're a wee kind of... To the listening audience.
For the listeners, Paul's
For
wiggling
the
his
listeners,
arms.
I did a wavy arm thing. So you're like a wee ball-shaped man with kind of woo kind of arms. It's the best fun
Okay.
ever, honestly, man.
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys. Fuck yeah. It's been out for ages, but they've just changed it to free in order to get more players on it. It's the best fun ever.
Okay. I will. Oh, okay. I've just
Get it for
Googled
Malia.
it.
Get it for Malia.
Love the
Malia
colours.
will love it.
I shall look into that immediately.
Free game. Totally worth it. Harvey, same mate. Best fun ever. You'll be addicted to it, man.
Well, I'm playing bloody Assassin's Creed now, Valhalla.
Classics.
Addicted to it, man.
Ah,
I
classic.
got to Valhalla yet.
Aye.
Played the one before that, but I've no. Oh, yeah,
The thing is,
I haven't made it to
the thing
Valhalla.
is, I skipped a few Assassin's Creed, so I did.
I've played one
Because
of
I
these.
I was just like, fucking bored of it now.
Same kind of thing every game,
So I
aye.
haven't- Aye,
Aye.
pretty much. And then I haven't played it for, I don't know, I haven't played Assassin's Creed in about 10 years. Any Assassin's Creed.
I can't imagine they've
seen
changed
the-
much, have they?
The Valhalla, I mean, the graphics are better.
Oh, I suppose, aye.
Yeah. It's alright,
you know
but I'm enjoying this one though, because you get your own camp and stuff like it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, man.
There's some sort of long-term booking when it comes to use the wrestling patter. When it
In
comes
Assassin's
to
Creed.
Assassin's Creed, aye, there's an interweaving story that.
That's right, the
evolved
kind of
through
the
all the
Apple of
games.
Eden thing and all that, aye.
Aye,
That's right.
that's the bit. I mean, gameplay-wise, it's just like small improvements. Like what you're actually doing in the game hasn't changed that much over the years.
It's like an update, basically.
Kinda, aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, that
Aye.
concludes the game chat.
The shite
We've covered
patter.
all the bases of it.
Hey! Nailed it all.
Ah, happy days. Right, well, I think on that note, that shall... I mean, I'm slightly disappointed that we've not done anything special, but since it's, episode 150, but I have to say that it kind of crept up on us a wee bit. We
Totally
hadn't
did,
really
aye.
planned ahead for this. So, I don't know if maybe when we get to episode 200, maybe we do a quiz or something.
A wee bit of effort, and
That sounds like a good show. Aye.
Make it special.
I want to place $10 on us forgetting to right now.
I will not take that bet.
Because I'll clean house. That's how. Easily.
Oh dear. Right. Well, I've been Mick, they have been Harvey and Paul. Thank you very much for sticking with us through 150 episodes, and here is to 150 more. Bye bye, driver.
Bye, the
Bye, driver.
Bye.